It's a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. Pujols into the air. It's deep to left. Taylor's back at the wall. It's 700.
On fly ball. Deep left. There it goes. Soaring into history.
Fastball hit to left. It is long gone.
Hello and welcome to Super Contact's Baseball Podcast. It is episode 15. Today's date is April 26, 2023. We're only 4 days removed from our last recording, so there's not been a whole lot of new things to go over, but I'm still joined by Noah today, and we're going to talk about some different news around the league. Noah, how you doing today?
Doing great today. It's a rainy, muggy, nasty day here in the DFW, but making the most of it.
We got a nice, partly cloudy 80 degrees here in H, so a little contrast going. I like both of those weather descriptions. Something about like just a nasty, muggy day, like in April, May, kind of feels nice because it's like, summer's coming, and in Texas summer, it's just gonna destroy you. So having some of those like mid-temperature, sun's not all the way out, it's kind of gross. There's something nice about those because it kind of takes you away from the soon-to-be destruction of your welfare.
Yeah.
Anyway, baseball. Where was I going with this? I lost all train of thought talking about the weather. Mookie came back, and instead of playing right field or second base, Dodgers just said, screw it, we're going to start him at shortstop. And he kind of made like 3 really good plays at shortstop, which got me thinking about other people that are just like, you can just kind of plug and play wherever. Do you have a player that you remember like watching them play like out of position and just doing phenomenally well?
I do. And it was the early days of Joey Gallo.
I knew you were going to say him because if you didn't, that's who I was going to bring up.
Yeah, I remember going to Globe Life Park. Yeah, it's Park, right? Yeah, I don't remember. But I remember he'd be at third. He could play first, obviously anywhere in the outfield, filling it for the DH spot. And when he first started really making a name for himself, that's when he got thrown out in the outfield. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other like Rangers. I don't really think so. But yeah, Joey Gallo was one of those very versatile, pop in here and play good kind of guys.
I want to say it was like 2018. I think I saw him play like at third base one time randomly. I was like, yeah. Oh my gosh, like he can kind of do everything. Like it's kind of crazy. He comes to mind. Being a Houston guy, I think of Bregman because Bregman has played second base, first base, and left field at different times throughout his career, which is so weird because like he was drafted as a shortstop out of LSU and then moved to third base because of the Carlos Correa and blah 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 blah. And but no, Bregman can also just like go wherever you need him to and be just fine. And another guy who obviously has some positional flexibility, Fernando Tatis Jr. made his outfield major league debut a few days ago, and playing out in Chicago. I believe they're in Chicago. Some hecklers were out in the bleachers getting after him on the he's on steroids chants. Did you see this clip?
I did. I actually just saw it when I was coming home from school today.
And so what do you think about Tatis kind of giving a little dance move for the
I think it's
along?
awesome. I think if you let people like let it bother you, like it doesn't really have any effect. I was trying to tie it into the Anthony Rendon situation. Like obviously they're 2 different situations in a way, but if you just like have fun with it, it happened. You can't go back in the past and change it. You just can't let stuff like that bother you. Obviously very professional in my eyes. So I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it's weird because like 20 years ago, if someone did this, it'd be like super unprofessional.
Yeah.
But like to me, like I don't mind it because I grew up with such an old school like baseball outlook with like who taught me baseball and whatnot. But like as characters have developed and players are actual people and not robots and whatnot, and as those times have kind of morphed into what we have today, like I would much rather see Tatis kind of just vibe with the claps and do a little dance for them for that little 5 second period than point up at the stands and flip somebody off and
Yeah.
F you Chicago or anything like that. So like from if it's A or B, like yeah, I'll take this little like 5 second dance move and having fun with the crowd. And at the end of the day, like I said, if it bothers you and you can tell that it bothers you, then you've let the crowd win. And so to me, like I don't know, I kind of enjoy this. Maybe that's the Houston fan in me too, because of the Astros shame tour or whatever it was. Like just screw it, just go out there and have fun, beat them. Who cares? So I've become a little bit more adapt to letting people enjoy themselves when they get heckled. But I'd much rather see him do that than some of the other alternatives he probably could have done. Speaking of Houston, they go into Tampa Bay after the Atlanta sweep, and Tampa Bay's home winning streak finally ends at 14 games. An MLB record, I think, for home opening games or wins to start the season at home, whatever the record was. It ended at 14 was the streak for them. Luis Garcia was the one who did it after like a weird thing. Like we saw him pitch when y'all came down to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And like his first 3 starts, he had like an over 7 ERA, and then against Toronto, which is an offensive team, and the Rays that are the best team in baseball at the moment, back-to-back 0 runs over 14 innings. It's kind of a unique thing seeing him do that. But Tampa Bay, are they going to come back down to earth, you think? Or are they going to play hot baseball for a long time still, you think?
I was honestly about to ask you the same question. Like, is it going to die down, or like I'm trying to think, because it's the AL East. Sorry, East being such a competitive division. And I mean, I know they've already made their rounds through a couple of teams, if not all of them. Like I want to say that it'll die down, but I don't know. I mean, we're how many games into the season, and it just kind of hasn't, like, yeah, they've lost a couple games here and there, but like it hasn't stopped. I don't know. The hater in me, if you will, wants to see it die down, because I'm tired of Rays fans and these group chats I'm in. But like from like a baseball.
How many Rays fans are you in group chats with?
I don't know. Like freaking Aiden, me and him like just got added to these like group chats with a bunch of people we play the show with. And you've got, like, Marlins fans, Braves fans, Rays fans, and, the Rays fan I know is, like, 16, and it's really annoying. Anyways, but, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, the hater in me wants to see it stop, but I'd much rather it be them than the Yankees, so.
They're 20-4, so, like, their winning percentage is over 800 right now, over 80%. So at some point, they're going to come back down to probably the 60s, 60%, 65%, probably in that ballpark. So I think they're definitely going to not continue to just be like this dominant force. I mean, they've caught fire in some different ways. Baseball luck plays into it some, and then scheduling plays into it some, but to maintain an 80% winning percentage the whole year is pretty unlikely. So I think they definitely start. I haven't looked at their schedule in whole, but I would think that they come back down fairly quick. Probably by the time this next month rolls in, they'll be probably in the mid 70s winning percentage. And then probably by the All-Star break, they're probably closer to 65, where they'll probably average out. They do. Oh gosh. Okay, so they play Houston tonight for the series, and then they go to the White Sox, which more on them in a second. And then they play the other hottest team, the Pirates, and then they play the Yankees, at Orioles, at Yankees, at Mets. So like the next 3 weeks, they actually have some pretty interesting series, I think. The Blue Jays are in there, the Dodgers are in there, the Cubs are in there for May. So I think the month of May is going to be a much tougher month for the Rays than what they've had to start the year. So we'll see, but I definitely think probably a 65 winning percentage over an 80, a little insane right now. Which another streak type of thing that I don't know how long it's going to last. I think every game this is the last time, but he keeps doing it. Mauricio Dubon has the MLB best 19-game hitting streak right now for Houston. And talk about a kind of a random player to have it going, but why not?
Yeah.
I think the Houston record is like 24. Don't fact check me on this, but who do you think has the hit tools to actually like produce a long hit streak? Who's gonna have the longest hitting streak in baseball this year? That should have been a prop bet we did a few months back. I have my answer.
Okay, so yours first.
Okay, my answer is the man who hit the cycle already, Luis Arias for the Marlins. I think just his hit tools, the ability to put the ball in play, the ability to find the extra base hits when they come, but to hit the bloop singles, to take the ball the other way whenever he wants. I think he's always a candidate for the best hitting streak in.
I'm trying to think, like, it might be a dumb answer. I'm trying to think of anybody on the Rangers, but they're either really hot or really cold, all of the hitters individually. I want to say somebody like, I don't know, Brian Reynolds, maybe? I don't know if that's a dumb answer, but it's the first one that popped into my head, because I know how good he's been doing this year.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Brian some more here in a second. Yeah, I mean, hit streaks are such a random thing anyway, but I just, the fact that this guy that was supposed to be kind of a utility player who's had to play because of the Altuve injury a lot has just started hitting the ball like crazy. He came over in a trade last year to Houston from San Francisco, was just kind of a utility fourth outfielder, fifth infielder for them. And you basically didn't see him at all last year for Houston. He was just like an emergency guy. Now he's like the key component hitting leadoff on this Astros team. It's kind of crazy to think about. Here's a fun story for you. The Minnesota Twins. My preseason prediction for AL Central winner. For the first time since 2001, has won a series versus the Yankees. Noah, in your lifetime, the Twins have never beaten the Yankees in a 3-game set.
How about it? That's crazy. That's such a crazy stat.
Some things you just see and you're like, there's no way. And then, like, no, this is true. And I think the Twins have lost like 13 straight playoff games, which is like a North American record. So, like, in your lifetime, the Twins have been such a mid franchise. We'll use the mid term because that's how young people talk, right? Very mid franchise, and then just all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're gonna break an issue that's been going on for 22 years. 22 years ago, I was 8.
God.
The Twins haven't won a series versus New York since I was 8 years old. Which I think ties into Sonny Gray being filthy. Joe Ryan has been really good. Carlos Correa hasn't been doing it consistently, but he's had some big moments. Byron Buxton as long as he's on the field, he's one of the best in baseball. And then Pablo Lopez, man, came over that trade, and between him and Sonny Gray, they have been carrying the load pitching wise. We put Johan Duran as like one of the top 5 relievers around the league. So yeah, this Twins team is fun. They've got good potential. I think a month in.
Yeah, Joey Gallo said the Yankees beard rule was stupid, and so he had to crank one on him. Didn't he? Huh? Yeah.
Did he actually say that?
No, it was a meme I saw on Instagram the other day. It was like it had him in quotes, and then it said Joey Gallo did not say this at all to our knowledge. And like,
yeah, I love those. They come out sometimes, like they'll catch me on one too. I'm like, no way, and then I'll click on. I'm like, oh okay, it was this page. Never mind.
Yeah. There
was one that they put like with Kyle Tucker and a few weeks back, and it made me giggle pretty good. I don't remember which one it was, so I can't remember what the phrase was, but they do good content on that. As far as other headlines, I don't really have like fun news. This is probably something that you'll be a little bit more passionate about than I am, so I'll introduce it, let you take the rock on it. Is there too much on the umpires' plates right now? Because I feel like I'm seeing worse called games this year than in years past with the strike zones and whatnot. And then also I've got 3 teams so far this year that have been negatively impacted by over 5 runs by the umpire scorecard and strike zones and how games are being officiated. The Dodgers have a negative 5.74 runs. The St. Louis Cardinals, negative 5.61 runs, and the Houston Astros have negative 5.46 runs. The 3 worst teams as far as like accumulation of negative impact from umpires. Do you think the umpires are struggling to keep up with all the new stuff they have to manage, or is this just a weird
old,
first month?
I think they're just old.
They're just old?
They need to go sit on the front porch on their wooden rocking chair and drink coffee and watch a deer jump throughout the woods all day. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, I would take that gig. That sounds pretty good.
So this is like it's been a big issue, but I'm starting to see it more now that I'm paying more attention to baseball. It's kind of getting ridiculous. I know we talk about what's his name, Buckner.
CB.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and I just don't know. I mean, half of the people are for the electronic strike zone and getting rid of umpires in general or in some type of way. But then other people, and I'm going to bring up Aiden, to my knowledge, doesn't like the electronic strike zone because it takes away from the catcher being like a good framer or, being good in that department. And so I'm kind of like neutral on it because, number one, I think the Rangers were negatively affected in the series, which we'll probably get into here in a minute, against the Reds a couple times. And, you don't really care until it happens to you. And so now I'm kind of getting sick and tired of it. And with these certain ejections, and it's just like they face, to my knowledge, they face no repercussions or they don't get any kind of like punishment for ruining a game in a drastic way. And so I don't know, man. I feel like some of them are on their A game. There are really good umpires in the league, but it just kind of, the bad ones kind of put a negative reflection on the good ones. So I will say, in a way, yes, there is too much on the umpire's plate, but then again, it's your job. Do it and do it right. So
have you seen the the minor league system with like the pitch challenge system?
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
So like if you're at bat and there's a pitch that you don't like, it's the quick head tap on the helmet, and then it just goes to review, and they like showed up on the video board, and like in real time they just like bring up the pitch into like an artificial strike zone over the plate. I'm guessing it's measured by StatCast or something like that, and whether or not the ball was a strike or a ball, and then the result is made off of that challenge. But you only get like one challenge per game per player, or I don't know how you how you use it, or maybe it's like you as a team only get a certain amount for a game. I don't know like all the rules, but just seeing it in action a couple times, I could think of 3 or 4 situations this week where I'd be like, yeah, I'd say that's a challenge-worthy pitch.
Yeah.
Big moment type pitches, bases loaded, called strike 3 situations on a pitch that was not a strike, or definitely didn't feel like a strike. And like, to me, I get it's a hard job. Like, I understand this, but like, there was a stat or some information came out last year where like 85% of pitches are either like right down the middle for called strikes, are swinging strikes, are put in play somehow, or obvious balls. And that really the umpire's job is to manage like the 10 to 15% of pitches that are on the borders, that are on the edges. And so if you have a game, that is 150 pitches, then you're talking about 15 to 20 pitches that you actually have to get right. Yeah. And if I was only asked to get 15% of my job right on any given day, I probably would have a very lax job. So, there's got to be some type of like I said, there's no I feel like there's no sense of urgency for umpires to improve. A guy like Pat Hoberg, who like had a perfect game called in the World Series last year, like, let Pat like be a freaking crew chief and work the plate whenever he wants. Like, if he's that good behind the dish, like, let's let the pitchers feel good about having Pat back there. Let's let the batters feel good about having Pat back there instead of having terrible umpires that are going to get things wrong, that are going to miss those 50% of their job, that is like 100% of their job, incorrect. And so the fact that we have to stay on rotation and that everyone has to be able to call games behind the plate, and we're wasting Pat Hoberg at second base some nights, it's just like, why? Like, let the best guys back there and let them do their job. I think that's probably the biggest reform I would like to see next in baseball, is something to do with the umpire security, the umpire like rate of performance, or something has to give in terms of how much they have to manage, who's calling the games, blah 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 blah. I don't know that I've watched more baseball this year, but in the baseball that I have watched this year, I feel like I've seen worse called games. So take that for what it's worth, I guess.
I agree with you. It's been pretty rough, and I will say this: in the first series of the year against the Phillies, we don't sweep them. If I'm pretty sure Buckner was umpiring this game. I don't think we win a couple of those games because of the bad calls that he made. So, anyways, I'll take it though.
You brought the Rangers and the Reds. Like, we'll just touch on it very briefly. I'll let you get your frustration out. And I'll set you up with a softball question on it too. So, the Rangers offense has been producing runs. They've produced runs this series. Yeah. The starting pitching has been okay. The fielding has been okay. The bullpen has been kind of not okay.
Yeah.
Are these the Rangers' true colors, or is this just a bump in the road and nothing more than a speed bump?
We see, we're kind of at that point. Like, is this the Rangers' true colors? The lineup. I think the only part of our lineup that there's a problem is with the 7, 8, 9 spot. Like, I mean,
Reach.
you look. Wait, what? Oh yeah. You have Travis Jankowski, who has been an absolute stud this year. They finally pulled him up to the 2 spot since Seager's been out when he does play, and he's been doing really good. But then you have like guys like Brad Miller and Bubba Thompson and like Josh Smith starting over people like Leody Taveras, Ezekiel Duran. Like it's ridiculous sometimes.
Is Duran up right now?
What's up?
Is Duran up?
Yeah, he's been playing in shortstop. Yeah, shortstop here as of recently.
Okay.
So he's a good utility guy. But like starting pitching, I still think we have one of the best rotations in baseball. Yeah, you're gonna have bad games here and there, but I think I saw they have like the second lowest ERA. I think I don't know after today, which I mean we only gave up 3 runs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you keep those 5 together all year, and going, like, it's a really good 5. So it's just a matter of keeping them going.
Yeah, and then the bullpen, I think we did see the bullpen's true colors come out the series. I mean, we were talking about it before the episode. We had a lead in the first game, blew it. Umpires really didn't help, but I'm not blaming it on the umpires because our bullpen was awful. Had a 6-0 lead yesterday, blew it, and then bullpen gave up a walk-off 2-run home run today. And so it's just like, I knew there was going to be a weakness. We've been looking good in the bullpen so far, and there were some questionable, manager actions. Like, why are we taking Dane Dunning out when he's doing really good, and you put Jose Leclerc in and he walks the bases full? Why are we taking out, who was it? I want to say it's Will Smith, and putting in like guys like Ian Kennedy. Like, I know you have to use them, and we're still early in the season, and I know he wants to see, how they're going to do, but
probably some early on like load management stuff and pitch count stuff. And
but I'm not blaming this on Bruce Bochy either. It's like, it's your job in the bullpen, and I still think that's kind of like the weakest link of our team. So, but there have been a couple guys step up so far this year, which is really cool to see. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers have maybe been, I don't want to say like a surprise, because like you look at their roster, you look at their lineup, the pitching rotation, like, hey, if this group's healthy, like they're pretty good on paper. Like, I don't know if they're playoff yet. I think they're still maybe a year away. They need some more pitching to develop, and that bullpen specifically. But like preseason, like you could have made a case for them being a really good team. Like, we had them second or third in the division across the board, I think. So. Going from where they've been under 500 for the last few years to, being atop the division in this first month, like, it wasn't an unreasonable view. But I think, being swept by the Reds is a bad look.
It's ridiculous.
But the good news is that I think you can point and say, well, our best position players out right now. The starting pitching has been solid, even though like we're not getting like the shutouts by some of these guys. We're getting quality starts, we're getting quality innings, we're getting outs. And then, hey, if we're in this thing come trade deadline, you add a couple bullpen pieces, and all of a sudden you're a complete team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, getting off to a hot start while Houston was going to be a slow starter coming out the gate and whatnot was really important. You circle the Reds as like a series that you have to win because of the way you've been playing and trying to maintain and keep or even grow a lead in the West. To drop 3 in a row is pretty tough.
We have the Yankees coming into town tomorrow for a 4-game series, so... if you get swept by the Reds, and I mean, baseball's weird. We could go and sweep the Yankees.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not a good feeling or good look for the team. So.
Yeah, y'all have the Yankees, and then
Arizona, and then the Angels, Seattle, and Oakland, and then Atlanta.
Okay, so May isn't exactly. It's not the toughest, but it's definitely not the easiest.
No.
The Angels are weird. They've always been weird. They will continue to be weird. The Mariners are kind of slow starting right now. The Athletics are awful. The Braves are tough, but they just got swept at home, so like anything's possible in baseball. And then the Diamondbacks are playing good, but not great. So it's still shaping up like it could be a good first half.
Yeah.
Don't let one sweep in April ruin your week.
I'm trying to keep that attitude.
You mentioned this guy's name earlier, Brian Reynolds. Signed, for a long time, we were kind of like, okay, where's he going to get traded to? He's on the block. He wants out. Who's going to win the Brian Reynolds sweepstakes? Like, it's not as sexy as the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes, but, it's a pretty good secondary one to keep an eye on. Instead, signs a long-term extension through at least 2030, team option for 2031, with the Red Hot Pirates. And so I don't know if this is a sign that the Pirates believe that they have enough coming up, or that they're going to start contributing some financial means to around their key pieces, or what. But this contract secures this year, obviously, his last 2 arbitration years, and then he's buying out 5 years of free agency with a possible 6 year on the team option. Your first reaction to the Brian Reynolds contract?
It was kind of depressing because, another weak link on our team is, that other outfielder we need. I'm glad he got paid. I was kind of surprised that it was with Pittsburgh, though. Their, relationship, how it's been lately. But yeah, he gets paid. Good for him. The exact words when I saw it, I don't mean to bring it back to the Rangers, but it's just what it was. Evan Carter's going to be the guy in our organization, the next good outfielder. But yeah, that was my first reaction when I saw it. But good for him. Good for Pittsburgh. Finally having like a guy to build around.
Yeah, to me, this is a great for Pittsburgh contract, in my opinion, because, you're buying out the last 2 years of arbitration on this contract, but you're getting 5 years of his free agency for under $20 million for Brian Reynolds. His on schedule salaries, his like cash salaries for the years. This year, 2023, 6.75, so 6.75 million. Next year, 10. 2025, 12. And then he goes into his free agent years, where 26, 14 million, 27, 28, 29, and 2030. So 4 years at 15 million for Brian Reynolds is a steal. And then a team option, not even a player option, a team option for 2031 worth 20 that has a $2 million buyout. So if you're like, we don't like it, $2 million, and you're out of it 2031. But man, to me, like, Reynolds gets a signing bonus and all this good stuff, and it gives him security for a long time, which is awesome for him, something that he deserves. But seeing some of the salaries that baseball has dished out the last year and a half,
kind of a fleece if you kind of think about it. But
man, like, you look at Corbin Carroll's contract even, and you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense for Corbin Carroll because he has played literally like 5 weeks of Major League Baseball, and he's gotten this huge extension. It's like, okay, good for him. This is kind of crazy. But like, the numbers are, like, in weird ways, a lot higher for Corbin Carroll, which maybe that ceiling is higher for Corbin, but like, Reynolds is going to produce for you. Like, he's one of the better, he's like a top half, top third outfielder in baseball. So yeah, like, I think it's a steal for the Pirates. It gives Reynolds security, so it's probably a win-win in that scenario. But I was really surprised to see some of the salary numbers as low as they were.
Yeah, it has me thinking, because if I was Brian Reynolds, like you said, he does produce, and with some of the other contracts around the league, do you think like that whole like animosity and all that was fake? Because he wanted to stay in Pittsburgh, so kind of a little reverse. I might sound very stupid right here, but wanted to like stay in Pittsburgh and use a little bit of reverse psychology, or because he gets paid, he gets a good year, so good deal. So
honestly, man, like, I think for him, he just wanted, like, based off of this deal and what I'm seeing, and some of the words that were kind of being thrown around, I think he likes Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a cool place. Like, you're playing in one of the best ballparks in baseball. And his thing, I think, the whole time was just like, I just want to be paid for my value.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you're getting paid for your value with these numbers.
No.
Personally. But the dude is 28, and so, he's kind of leaving his young man years behind him soon.
Yeah.
And so this contract guarantees him millions through his age 35 season. And so, like, the length of it, I think, might have been more important to Reynolds than the price. And I think this still gives the Pirates flexibility to build around him and try to create a winning ball club. So to me, this might be a thing where Reynolds wants to get paid for a long time. He wants to be secured for a while, but he's not super concerned with the dollar value because he wants the organization to go spend some money around him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And or at least that's kind of me reading between the lines. That I might be totally wrong, but that just, with what I'm looking at and whatnot, just seems to be the case. Maybe this opens the door for like an O'Neal Cruz extension. Maybe a free agent signing or two that actually matter. No shots at the guys that they brought in. But the guys they brought in this year in free agency were like placeholders.
Yeah.
So does this mean, hey, we've got Cabrian Hayes locked down. We have O'Neal Cruz for the next 5 years. We've got Reynolds for the next 7 years. Now we go in on a couple and see if we can make some big time moves. I don't know, but good for Reynolds. Obviously, he's going to be happy with this, otherwise he wouldn't have signed it. And I think really good for the Pirates because you're not paying him until he's 40, and you're getting him at a discount on his price per year. So yeah, Reynolds extended. Let's see, another topic I got here, and we'll start wrapping this thing up, I think, after this one. Stolen bases are up with the pitch clock and the bases being larger, and I still don't know like how much that really has to do with it, but stolen bases are up around the league, but there's some teams that are like really running. There's 5 teams right now that are averaging more than 1 stolen base per game. You have the New York Yankees, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Chicago Cubs, excuse me, I'm burping over here like crazy. The Chicago Cubs, the Baltimore Orioles, and the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland right now is running at they're stealing a base. They're stealing 1.27 bases per game. So like every 4 games, they're stealing 5 bags, essentially. They're like on pace to be one of the most stolen base happy teams in a long time. I did not have the Cleveland Guardians on my bingo card for the most stolen bases. But what do you think about the stolen base? I'm about to say reconnaissance, not reconnaissance. Renaissance. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
I think it's good. I think it's fun for baseball. It makes it more enjoyable to watch, more entertainment. I wish there was another team up there, but we use the excuse of, well, we've been, playing really good against really good catchers. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still the base. But yeah, I think it's good for the game. Other people might not think so. And like you said, I don't really know how much the bases are helping with it, now that they're bigger. But I know that the new pitch clock has made a lot of teams, what's the word? Jump the gun on it. So, yeah, I don't know. I like it.
I do too. I think it's fun. I think it's one of the most exciting plays you get on any given pitch in baseball right now. There's a lot that has to happen on a stolen base attempt, and so every time it happens, you kind of like your whole body kind of like clenches, like, okay, what's about to happen in this second and a half? So, I think it's really cool. I think it's one more way for catchers to earn their money, which is good because there's not many great offensive catchers out there, but the ones that are good with the pitch receiving and the framing, but the ones that can also throw guys out and control the running game. It puts them in a position for them to show off some cannons, which I think is fun. So yeah, I think the stolen base stuff being up is fun, and I would be amiss to say Cleveland. I know Jose Ramirez can steal some bags. I know Stephen Kwan can steal some bags. Miles Straw can run. but I would not have guessed them at all for the league, for the Major League Baseball lead in stolen bases. So the second team, that Baltimore club with the Orioles, like I might have put them on my short list of teams just because they're so kind of young and athletic across the board. Yeah, Cleveland Guardians right now are running like crazy. Let's see. In 4 days will be officially 1 month since opening day. And I thought it was really interesting just looking at like the 1 month numbers. And so this is my final little topic here. NL and AL MVP and NL and AL Cy Young. If the season ended, technically today is when I'm looking at these stats. Obviously, I can't look into the future on these stats, but 1 month in, who is your MVP and Cy Young for both divisions? And just looking at the numbers, man, like I couldn't deny these two names. I didn't. They were nowhere near my my thoughts. Really, even when I was like thinking that this would be a fun little 3-minute discussion. In the National League, Brandon Marsh has been killing it. He has been a dog. 22 games, 70 at bats, triple slash of 357. 444, 729 with 14 extra base hits and a couple steals along the way too. Playing center field, playing in Philly, and I know the Philly team like win-loss record isn't great right now, but Brandon Marsh is freaking delivering. I think he leads the National League in OPS. And I think he's tied for the league in extra base hits. And then my AL nomination for another team that I really like, his name didn't really float on my radar until a couple days ago. But Jared Kelenic, I believe it's Kelenic, so far this year in 73 at bats, slashing 342, 395, 726, also with 14 extra base hits. There was a lot of hype around Kelenic when he first came up as like, no, this guy's like the truth in the outfield and has one of the best batting profiles that you've ever seen. And then he struggled and struggled and struggled, had some flashes. Last year was just kind of an average player, but all the prospect guys are like, no, just wait. And like, I get it, because he's only like 23, 24 during this time. And maybe this is his big breakout wake-up party. But do you have another MVP nominee or someone that you're like, no, your two picks suck, here's the actual guy?
I mean, you did the work, so if we're going to go strictly off stats, those two, I don't know, man. It's been like a weird season in a way. Would you agree? Like...
Yeah, it's month one. It's always weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Who's the guy in Chicago that's like leading is leading baseball right now in home runs?
Patrick Wisdom.
Patrick Wisdom hit his
Former
10th home
Ranger.
run. Was he the first to 10?
I think Muncy wasn't he? I don't know.
Muncy's been killing it too.
Just got news. I don't know if you're on your phone or not, but Robbie Ray undergoing flexor tendon surgery and will miss the rest of the 2023 season.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's huge for Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got good young pitching depth behind him, but man, that sucks.
Tough, man.
Well, my two pitchers that I had circled for my Cy Young, neither one of them were Robbie Ray. Best of luck to him, obviously, on his recovery going forward. But National League-wise, the Quadzilla himself, Spencer Strider, with his fantastic mustache. I'm surprised you're not as big of a Spencer Strider fan with his mustache. I figured that would be right up your alley.
I mean, I'm kind of off of mustaches now that Nate Lowe shaved his off. But probably when he grows it back out, I'll hop on the bandwagon.
Gotcha. Well, Spencer right now has 30 innings pitched and 49 strikeouts. He's leading baseball in strikeouts. And a 1.8 ERA over those 30 innings with a 0.83 whip. And then in the American League, Mr. Shohei Ohtani, only 28 innings, but he had his start in Boston cut short because of the rain issue. Probably would have, 33, 34 innings if that wasn't the case. But 28 innings of 0.64 ERA, 0.82 whip, and 38 strikeouts in his 28 innings. Both these guys are striking guys out like crazy and not letting anybody get walks or hits, basically. So those are my 1 month winners at Cy Young, which my Cy Young winners are more names that are associated with the Cy Young Award than my MVP winners currently. But those are my 4 picks for the league awards currently.
Heck yeah.
No, any last second things?
I just wanted to say I was laughing. I was not laughing that Robbie Ray got hurt. I really hate it. You hate to see anybody get hurt. I was laughing at how you transitioned into it. You're like, well, my Cy Young pitchers. I don't know why it was funny, but
I didn't know what else to do.
I was not laughing at Robbie Ray's injury. Just want to put that out there. So
yeah,
no, that's it for me.
That's awful. Flexor tendon is never fun. That was what Lance had to deal with here in Houston, and he's still really not right from it. It's a pretty major issue. So hopefully, he's had a long career, and so I hope it's not the end of Robbie Ray. Hopefully he comes back even better than what he was this past year. Maybe he gets back into that Cy Young form he had in Toronto. But yeah, all the best for him and his recovery. It's bummed. Like, it's not great for the Mariners, obviously, but at least they have a pretty good talent pool of pitching to pull from. It's not the worst thing that could happen. But, bounce back season for Robbie Ray next year, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got, if that's all you got.
That's all I got, brother.
All right. Well, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and MySpace. Dude, real talk, I kind of wish MySpace would make a comeback.
Yeah, I don't even know. No, I don't know.
Like, I kind of miss MySpace. Maybe that's a weird hot topic, but bring back MySpace. I miss having like actual customizable pages instead of like Twitter feeds. But that's just me. Yeah, subscribe, like the things, do all the things that we're supposed to tell you to do, and go follow us for more content. And everything's on the website, www.swingforcontact.com. Everything is linked there, along with our store. Go get you a t-shirt or a tumbler or something, because I need to pay for the things that I've already paid for. And so every $3 helps.
Noah merch on the way.
Noah merch on the way. Absolutely. All the things. So yeah, go follow us on all the social media stuff. Give us a like on any platform that you do find us on. We'd certainly appreciate it. And if you have a baseball friend or family, share our stuff with them, because we love to help expand our name and our brand, and bring some more people in from the outside. So yeah, this is episode 15. We will see you next week.